Today's video, I'm going to take you through the contra entries. Remember, we are still at recording stage, and at this stage, we need to know all the principles concerning recording so that we don't make mistakes. So we are here. Then we are going to start with contra. When you look at the previous video, I talked about recording in two-column cash book, and the question is, there are some transactions which you may not be knowing how to record them. Take an example. Suppose you are transferring money from the bank to business for business use, maybe in the form of petty cash, something like that, or you pick your petty cash or your cash from the business and then you take to the bank. I talked about from the previous video under two-column cash book, we had cash column, and I want to call it cash account or column. Then we had even banker column. Remember, I told you when you are recording in our cash book, you have two sides. We have the debit side, and even I talked about credit what? Credit side. If we remember, we said on debit side we are recording cash receipts. Then on credit side we record cash payments. Now the question is, suppose you carry money from the cash yourself, your business, then you go and deposit to the bank. Is that any income? Are you spending money or you are receiving money? The answer will be none of them. It's not any income, neither is it an expense, but rather it is a transfer fund from one account to another account. So a transaction that involves both cash and bank column being affected simultaneously is taken as a contra entry. So by definition here we shall say, these are transactions that affect both cash account and bank account simultaneously at the same time. Now, you are transferring money. Often, let me even add this. Often it involves transferring. What are you transferring? Of course, cash money into or out of bank, or would be withdraws. Go to the bank and withdraw money for business use. Withdraws or would be deposit that affect cash or bank still. You are going to find such transactions as you are recording. I'm happy that from the previous video we understood that the cash receipts we put on the side, cash payment we put on credit side. But what about if you are neither losing nor receiving? How do you deal with such a transaction? Don't worry, we are here to look at this. Let's try to go through the purpose. Why do we have contra entry? Purpose of contra entry. Remember, I said this is a transaction that involves both cash and bank at the same time. Either cash is increasing, then the bank is reducing, or bank is reducing, cash is opposite. Let's look at this purpose. To record the fund transfer. You always hear transferring funds from one account to another account. Maybe from cash account to bank account. Maybe from one bank account to another bank account. So fund transfer between two accounts. And these two accounts, i.e., that is cash and what? And bank. Cash and bank. So where you see there is a cash transfer from cash to bank or from bank to cash for business use, of course, we shall treat that as a contra entry. I need to give you some examples here, which always disturb our students. Let's start with these examples of contra entry. know that this is a contra entry. Remember, it must involve two accounts, that is cash and bank. For example, depositing cash into bank. What does this mean? When you deposit cash into bank, is your cash increasing or reducing? Remember, you have your cash maybe from yourself, you pick your cash from the business, then you take the bank. Meaning, here, cash reduces, and bank increases. Don't forget, this does not increase your total cash for both bank and cash. It's like picking money from one pocket, then you put in this pocket. You can't say now you have a lot of money. It is just transfer funds from one account to another account. Number two, you should think about, this is was deposited. What about withdrawing? Cash from bank. Hey, you are withdrawing, you go to the bank, you pick cash, you bring your business for petty cash, maybe expenses. Here, it will mean cash for the, at first cash reduces. Now here cash you have in your business, cash increases. What about bank? Bank will reduce. Bank reduces. You see now those two scenarios. You are depositing money in the bank, just a transfer. It's not an expense. You can't record in your cash book on the expense side or on the credit side. You say, I spent money by transferring to the bank. This is a fund transfer from cash to bank. The same applies here. Withdrawing cash from the bank for business use. That is really very important. You are going to the bank, you pick cash, you bring to your business to run, day-to-day activities. That is called bank transfer. It's not an expense. We are going to see how we deal with that. Then another example you may find may be transferring cash from petty. Maybe you have your petty cash. You decide to remove some and you transfer from petty cash to the bank. This one resembles or almost the same. I wanted to bring in an element of petty cash. It's like a depositing money in the bank. You pick your petty cash. Okay, that's transferring cash from petty cash to the bank as well. Lastly, could be transferring cash, or let me call it petty cash because it can be repetition. Petty cash to, the first one was transferring cash from petty cash to the bank. Okay, then this is transferring cash from bank to petty. Bring in your business petty cash. Bring in your business for use, to cater for smaller expenses. You go to the bank, you pick money, then you bring the business. Such transactions relate to what we call contra. Why is it contra entry? We say contra entries. These are transactions that affect both cash account and bank account simultaneously. In the previous video, we are recording whereby the transaction was only affecting cash account, or it was only affecting bank account. But now for this case, we're going to find two accounts are being affected at the same time. How do you record this? How to record this contra entry? You need to know that contra entry is recorded on both sides of the cash book. We shall put on the debit side, and even we shall put the same amount, same date, same everything on credit side. Putting into consideration which account is receiving, we shall go to the debit side and we give its money. We go on credit side, then we find out which account is losing. Is it bank? Then we put under bank code. So here we can say it is recorded on both sides of cash book, i.e. both on debit and what? Credit side. it is indicated. Okay, how do you know that this is a contra entry? Maybe you are presenting to someone, you want that to draw attention to that person that this was a contra entry, not expense. Of course, you can indicate it with capital C. Are you seeing that? That is letter C. Hey, we shall go to our folio column and put C. This capital C shows that is a contra entry. Someone who is reading our information will know we are talking about contra entry. And which contra entry meaning the transaction that affect both account, that is cash account and bank account. I think from there we can simply take an example. I'll take an example at that point. As you have seen this example, of course I have displayed your screen there. XYZ stationery store in Somaliland recorded the following transactions during August 2024. Opening balance is here, and my attention is what I require to prepare. Of course, we are required to prepare two column cash book for this X, Y, and Z. All right, the format is right here. It has title XYZ stationery store, two column cash book for the month of July. It is not different from the previous videos I have uploaded concerning two column cash book, but this one strictly I'm going to draw your attention on contra entry. Let's start with recording the first transaction. Saying opening balance on first July 2024. I told you opening balance is supposed to be recorded on debit side because we are receiving from the previous month. So balance rolled forward. Cash is cash. We have 15,000. 15,000. You record it here very fast. And bank is 25. Once you do that, you are done with recording of the first transaction. Then when you look on second transaction on August 3rd, 2024, receive the cash. When you receive cash from sales, of course, the business is getting money and you have to put on debit side. That is on third, record on debit side of our cash book, you put here sales. Just put sales, even if you don't put cash sales. The moment you put sales and it is in cash book, it communicates to the user that that is a cash sale. How much was it? It is 3,000 to the bank. It is received the cash sales, of course, to 500. Maybe point of collection, it is August, for the month of August, because when you look here, it's not July, it is for the month of August 2024. That's why here even I have made this collection, it is August, not July. So you have to pay attention on that. On 3rd August 2024, not July. 3rd August, of course, we received cash sales. That's why I'm putting under cash column. All this I understand now, we know how to record them. But I need to draw our attention on this transaction. On 5th August, deposited the cash into bank. I told you where you find two accounts being affected. That is the cash account and bank account. Automatically that becomes a contra entry. Remember, I told you contra entry is a transaction that affects both cash and bank simultaneously or at the same time. Once you find this, don't just continue to record the way you have been recording. Pause a bit and think. Ask yourself, when the business takes or deposits money into bank, deposits cash into bank, between cash and bank, which account is increasing and which one is reducing? The one which is increasing, you have to come on the debit side and you put under that column. For example, when you look at this on 50, deposited cash into bank, meaning our bank balance is increasing and the cash is reducing. That means on this receiving side or debit side, bank received amount, how much is it? Received 3,000. You first record the amount. It becomes very easy for you to show that bank is receiving. Then when you come under details, you need to put here, where are you receiving it from? From cash. Are you seeing that? Don't forget to put our date, that is on 5th August 2024. And here, for your column here, you have to put capital C to show that that is a contra entry. Someone who's reading this can easily understand you received the 3,000 from cash account on this day. But remember, I said contra entry is recorded on both sides, that is on debit side and on credit side. The mere fact you have identified that bank is receiving, it means cash is losing. Go on reducing or losing side, then under cash column, you record 3,000 is losing or reducing to which account? Bank. Then here you bring the same date, that is 5th of August 2024. And for your column, put capital C to show the cash is losing or reducing. I don't want to say losing because the balance is not there, but reducing to bank. You are picking money from cash, then you put to bank. That's why on this side we are putting under cash column. I think that sound is good under our contra entry. Let's continue with August 7. Pay the supplier by check. Of course, it's only bank being affected. Cash is not involved, meaning it is on credit side. It's not a contra entry. You just come on credit side, you record, pay the suppliers by check. Here you can put supplier, no problem. Check and a bank column. How much is it? It is 1,000 and a bank 200. Hope sounds good. Let's continue. On 10th August, withdrew. Look at this. Withdrew 500 cash from the bank. We have two accounts here being involved. The moment you see cash and bank in the same transaction, just know it is communicating to you there was a transfer made to pick money either from cash account to bank or from bank to cash. For this case, we withdrew, we picked the money from the bank to cash to be used for petty expenses. That qualifies to be a contra entry. If it's a contra entry, one, you need to know it must be recorded both on debit side and on credit side of our account. On debit side, we put under the account which is receiving. When you withdraw money from the bank to cash, it means cash is receiving. Meaning, under cash column here, you have to record we are receiving 500. And where are you getting this 500? From bank account. Here put capital C, and here you put our debt, that is on 10th, 2024. Not yet done. We said contra entry must be recorded both on debit side and on credit side. Go on the other side. Which account is losing the money? That is the bank. Put the same amount under bank column, it was 500. Because you are withdrawing money, you are removing money from bank, you transfer to cash. You put here to show that. Come here under details. You are losing it to which account? From bank to cash. Bring our C here to show that that's the contra entry. Don't forget that we need to put date here. Same date here. Same date. 10th August, 10th August to show it's a contra entry. Money was withdrawn from the bank and brought to cash for petty expenses. Hope it sounds good there. Let's try to look at the next transaction. On 12th, pay the rent by cash. That is direct. We go on credit side because our cash account is reducing. On 12th, we put here rent. How much? That is 1,000 under cash column. Sounds nice. Let's look at second last transaction. On 15th, transferred. This is what we are talking about. Transfer of funds from bank to cash, meaning bank is losing this money but cash is receiving. Come on debit side, give cash its money which is receiving from the bank. How much is it? 2,000. Come under details, you have to show where is cash receiving it from bank. Using that transfer, and for your column put C to show it's a contra entry. Don't forget to put our date, I think it's 15th. Yes, 15th. Go on the other side, you say it must be recorded both on debit side and on credit side. Do the same. Of course, bank is losing, show the money it's losing 2,000. Bring here, losing to who? To cash account. Put C to show it's a contra entry. Then don't forget to put our date. Nice, looks nice. Lastly, when you look at our last transaction, that is on 30th, deposited 600 cash into bank from petty cash. You are picking your petty cash, then you take to the bank. That sounds nice. Bank this time now is receiving money from cash. Come on debit side. Go to bank column. You put the amount it is receiving. Which amount this account is receiving? How much is it? 600. Next question. It is receiving from where? You must show where you are receiving the money. It is getting it from cash. On, that is 30th, 24. Put C to show that is a contra entry. Someone who's reading this can easily identify this as a contra entry. Transfer fund from one account to another account. Then you go on the other side, still, you complete by putting here on 30th. Who is losing this time around? When you deposit cash to bank, cash is losing, bank is receiving. So this is losing side. We shall put under cash column. How much? It is 600. Losing to bank. Put C to show it is a contra entry. When you look at this, I think it clearly communicates to what we are talking about. We are talking about how to record the contra entries, or we are talking about how to record the transactions that affect two accounts, that is cash account and bank account. That such transactions, we don't treat them as income or expense, but rather it is a transfer of fund from one account to another account. Don't ignore it. You must record in our books of accounts, and that's what we are from doing. Then last step of this number, we need to balance. To know after even making all those transfers, how much money we have in our cash, how much money we have in our bank account. You continue, as I explained last time, you draw. For students, skip one line here, where you put your balance carried forward. Skip one line. Down, you put, these are called our equal signs, where we're going to put our totals. As we are doing that, we need to look at what? How to balance this, then we shall get total. Let's start. Remember here, two column cash book summarizes two accounts, the cash account and the bank account. As we are balancing, don't mix. Let's start with cash. After that, we shall balance the bank. Let me start with cash here. When you look at cash column on debit side here, it is, you can add this 15,000, yes. You can get 500 plus 2,000, and our answer would be 20,000. Hope I'm right. 20,000, yes, it is 20,000. You also add the cash account on the credit side. Then that is 4,600. Sounds good. You see, when we received, because it's the receiving side, we received 20,000 and we spent 4,600. Of course, it communicates to you that even you have some balance. You have balance at the end of the month. What you call balance carried forward. How do you get that balance? You get 20 minus 4,600. 400. Before even I transfer to my format here, this shows you received this and you spent this. The balance you have on your cash account is 15. Let's balance this account. Pick the biggest here. Between debit and credit. Of course, debit is big. Put 20 here. Even put 20 on the other side. Of course, we are trying to show that these accounts are balanced. When you add, you get this. But if you get your calculator like this and you add this, you don't get this. This implies there is a certain amount of balance which is missing here, what we call balance carried forward at the end of the month. This is 30th. You can bring here 31st. Balance carried forward. Then it's here already. Subtract 15,400. We are going to do the same with bank account. We are going to balance the bank account the same way we have done for cash account. Let's look at this. For cash, for bank, still we shall have total for debit and total for credit. Look here. Total here we have 25,000, sorry, plus 3,000 plus 600. Yes, of course, takes us to 28. We received the 28,600 in our bank account. How much did we spend? You add on credit side 200 plus 500 plus 2,000. Yes, it takes us. Sounds good. You spent less. You received 28,600. You only spent 3,700. Pick the biggest as well. Which is 28. You fill it here. 600. Even here, 28,600. Still, when we add this plus this, you come up with this. But if you add this, you don't come up with it. Meaning there is some balance here which we must put here so that our number can come as we expected. So 28,600 minus 3,700 is 24,900. This means you received 28,600, but you only spent 3,700, and we have balance. If you go to your bank, we expect you to find this 24,900. You put it here. But as I said, the business is not closing. Remember our continuity concept and accounting principles and concepts. We have continuity concept, and we know the business even next month will exist. Now, this is 31st. Even next day, we are sure it will be there. We need to bring balance brought down at the beginning of next month. That is, if this is August, this will be September 2024. This is called balance brought down. Under cash account, you pick the same balance carried forward here. You bring it here and you put under cash. The same for bank. You pick it. We close with this. Tomorrow, following it down first, we shall start with the same balance. That is 24,900. Hope it's nice to you people. You have heard everything concerning the contra entries. We have tried to look at each and everything concerning contra entries. However, if there is something which is still lacking, as you are revising as a student, you can go to comment section. You put it there. I will come immediately and you will answer. I will come back and look at other books of original entries. Thank you very much. See you again.